Okay, this is my second video presentation looking at some of the models I'm putting together for the Talavera 208 project, and this time we're looking at British General Officers and their staff. Before you can see some of the books I have been referring to, my trusty, very old copy Ugo Piccoli book on the uniforms at Waterloo, which is a useful reference, particularly for the staff officers. The Osprey Wellington's Generals, the Talavera Chartrand Graham Turner book, which has got some good illustrations in there, which help sort of pick out what I'm trying to do with the figures I've got on show here. And it's useful just to get a good understanding of how general officers and their staffs related one to another, and the ranks involved. So books such as Nafziger and Parkes on the British military are quite useful for getting that understanding. So let's go and have a look at the figures in particular. As illustrated in my post, this chappie here, the divisional officer from the range from AB, hopefully you can see that. He's either a lieutenant general or major general. Frankly, at this scale the button arrangements aren't really going to show out all that well, so he'll do for either. Now he's in the 1811 regulations that wouldn't have been seen at Talavera, but this is obviously from the AB Waterloo range, but will fit in beautifully for later periods in the Peninsular War, going on through to Salamanca, Vittoria, etc., when these uniform looks started to appear. And as you can see, this general officer is wearing the aiguillette or brassard on his on his right shoulder, which is visible there, and he's being greeted by an infantry officer's ADC, as illustrated by the single gold bullion epaulette on the right shoulder there, that officer. As you can see, I've been sort of working on my bases, tied in a little bit of flowers and shrubberies and stuff just to enhance the general officer bases. So that's that chappie. And then we've got the individual brigade commanders, as illustrated in my post. I tend to mount my, hopefully you can see that, my brigadiers singly, without a staff officer present. And these are basically the line infantry officers that AB supply. I use these as colonels in my battalion organisations, but singly like this they fulfil the role of a brigade general. So this chap here is wearing a brigade general's undress uniform, without the lace on the jacket, just the gold buttons showing. And as I mentioned in my post, a lot of the brigade, some of the brigade general officers at Talavera and throughout the Peninsular War were very often field officers, senior field officers within their brigade. So it would be the senior colonel, the senior major, or the senior lieutenant colonel would be promoted to fulfill the rank of a vacant brigade command, should there not be a major general or a brigadier general available to fulfill that position. And so here we have a colonel from a buff-faced battalion with silver lace fulfilling that role as a brigade commander. I tried out some different colour options and variations. I think it's worth stressing that British officers in general wore a much better quality jacket, and obviously the senior officers could afford to spend at their favourite tailors to get the appropriate look they wanted, but the cloth was much better and the dyes were much better, and therefore it's important to have a good scarlet, if you like, standing out from the faded orangey red coats worn by the ordinary ranks. And so I tend to use Vallejo black red as my base colour. Gives a really good depth, so you can see that in the shot in the armpits, around the jackets for these officers. And then I will go over that with in this case I tried vermilion to give it a nice full red, and I will often highlight that with a scarlet, and sometimes I have used an orange red to give a more faded appearance, but it still maintains the red, if you like, on the figures. So those are some of the figures, some of the colours I've tried out here. Anyway, so there we are, British General Officers, and hope you found that useful. Next up I'll be looking at French Horse Artillery. Okay, cheers now, bye.